We are trying to take this time to help everybody get a better understanding of the things that go into making a worship experience. And one of the things that we're going to do is introduce a new segment called Pixels. And that is a microscopic look at what it takes to make the full picture. That's the tagline. You see what I did there? Yeah. So we're going to do a series of just really practical teachings. And today, I'm actually excited. J-Mix is going to talk to us about what does it mean when you see V2A, V3B, V1F? Is that what echoes at? What does all that mean? And how do you use it more? Really what I hope to get out of this, I hope everybody to get out of this, is a way to use the structure that we put in place to help us kind of organize our worship music, and how you guys can use that in your own systems and your own processes. I think the reason I think this is so important is because the worship music that's written out of this house carries a lot of weight. And the lyrics and the message that goes into those songs are very important. So for us to be able, like on our end of things in production, to be able to present that is an honor as well, and we want to do that as best as we can. So organizing that, keeping things straight in our head, like making sure lyrics are all correct, that there's no typos, that our loops and things are all presented correctly. That's a big deal to us, and it's a small detail that I think gets overlooked. So hopefully this will help everybody. I'm going to pass it over to J-Mix, and he's going to walk us through why we do this and how you can use it. So
yeah,
take it away.
Cool. So Andy, thanks for picking me to do this first. And
tradition.
Yeah, and getting to talk about the super exciting topic of version labels. It's going to be great. So it actually is, I think, a big step forward we made in the last 2 years is like organizing how all of our stuff is labeled and put together. It's helped all of our systems kind of become more smooth and lets us be more adaptable. But basically, I mean, a lot of you guys were around, some of you weren't, like 2 years ago before we had put this system in place. And we had just like a lot of really weird and really vague ways that we would label our songs. Or like if you read MD notes, you'd see a lot of really kind of strange descriptions for the type of song we're playing or the arrangement we're playing. First one being like, first you'd see the pre-pro version, then you'd see final pre-pro version, then you'd see final pre-pro version 2. And then you see real final version. So that was always kind of confusing what was going on there. You'd see something like same as MP3. You'd read the MD notes, say, we're going to play this song the same as the MP3. And it's like, well, okay, what MP3? Where are you getting this MP3 from? People are putting MP3s in texts and messages on Planning Center, which is just a big dumpster fire of MP3s. And so that was not very helpful. And then the best one of all, in my opinion, was same as normal. You'd see, we're going to play the song same as normal. And I've been building sessions here for 2 years now, and you couldn't tell me what normal is for, I think literally only God knows what normal would be for any of these songs. So yeah, so we kind of got to a point where all of that was just like becoming more of a hindrance than helping us move forward in our organization. And so we came up with this system that you guys see every weekend, the kind of letter system. Yeah, so you'll see version 1A, version 2B, things like that. And there's actually a meaning to those numbers and letters, and it has a system behind it. So we thought of kind of the 3 life cycles of the songs that we write, the 3 main ones. So the first one obviously being when we write the song, Pastor and Chris, or whoever is writing these songs, they're kind of birthed, and then we put the first set of production on it. And so Aaron will get his hands on it. We played at church for the first time. That's like version 1. Okay, we have version 1. It's awesome. And then obviously we go through a long process, and we get to the point where we put the song on an album. So that's kind of our second point of the song's life. So that would be version 2. And then once we've played the song, it's been on the album, we go out and tour with it. Maybe the song goes to radio, maybe it goes to remix, things like that. That's where you see version 3s come in. And so those are kind of the 3 main life cycles, but then we also, we released an acoustic album, released a gospel album, which are all totally different arrangements. So those became version 4s, version 5s. I'm sure someday we'll have version 6, version 7, it's just gonna grow. But it'll be organized, so it'll be good. And then the other part of this is obviously the A, B, C, D, E. So within each of those three kind of main life cycles, obviously there's a huge process of the development of the song, especially in version 1, where we'll come up with the song, we'll write it, and then maybe we'll change tempos, maybe we'll do a whole new production process on it, and maybe it'll sound totally different from version 1A to version 1F. And so every time we make one of those adjustments, we're adding a letter. So we've got 1A, the first version, 1B would be kind of, maybe we cut a down chorus, cut a down bridge because it felt too long, so that's version 1B. And then we change the tempo, so that becomes version 1C. And obviously that can go on for who knows how long, until we finally get to the album version. And as something appears on the album, becomes version 2A. So however you listen to it on your iPhone, when you're listening to the album, that is version 2A. But even from there, obviously, we do lots of different edits and different arrangements of the songs for specific weekends. And so then we're getting into 2B, 2C, 2D. And then the same goes for the radio versions, the same goes for the gospel versions, all the way through all that stuff. So that's kind of like the system that's set up. And hopefully it's mostly chronological. Hopefully it's mostly, we try to keep it to a minimum so it's not too many arrangements, but obviously the system is there to go all the way to Z, I guess. But yeah, so what this allows us to do is it puts a standard label across the arrangement in every platform that we're using. So this is relevant to obviously the worship team and the Ableton sessions. This is relevant to lighting. This is relevant to the people who are putting visuals on screens. All these things need to be in sync, and we need to be on the same page as what's being played. And so what's cool is, so we can say we're playing version 2B, and all of those three kind of systems have pre-created content for that specific arrangement. So we have a video file that's ready to go on the screen for version 2B. We have a ProPresenter set of lyrics that's already set up for version 2B. And what's cool is say we need to make an adjustment, we're gonna play version 2C. That's all content that's already pre-created, and they can just pull it in and we're ready to go. As opposed to, we're gonna do it the same as the MP3, and then we get to Saturday, oh, we're gonna cut the bridge, oh, we're gonna cut the chorus, oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna change the tempo, and then it's like, okay, now we're trying to edit content that we haven't already pre-created. We're trying to, you know what I mean? It just creates a mess and a lot of frustration. So that's kind of the goal for these arrangements, is to be able to be super adaptable, super flexible, but also be able to better prepare and have things ready in advance before we're walking in on the weekend. We make arrangement calls based on a lot of different things. So what actually constitutes being worth a new arrangement? Obviously, major edits to the song, cutting sections, things like that. If we make a major like vibe change to the song, even if the structure of the song is the same, but we put new hooks in, put new loops in, get new production around it, that's gonna be a new arrangement, because obviously that will change the way the stage looks, that will change the way the band plays it, and that's all super important. And then also, like, for a song like Won't Stop Now, we typically just play an abbreviated version of it on the weekend, even though it's technically the same as the album, we just stop sooner. We'll make that a new arrangement because it's something we do consistently from week to week. So if we have an arrangement they're doing that's just consistent, even if it's not a major change, we'll make it its own arrangement. And so for musicians especially, we need a way to kind of figure out what each arrangement actually is in musical terms. And so we've set up on Planning Center, some cool ways to see that. So this is Here's in Heaven. So I just went to this song tab and I searched the song. And you can see on the left side here, I've got all these different arrangements, version 2A, B, C, D, E, F, A, 4A, 5A, 5B. And so down here in this notes section, there's actually like a little explanation of what each arrangement is, which I don't think a lot of people know. But you can see version 2B is an extended intro, album version with the short solo, and then we're doing big miracle verses at the end, which obviously is really important to know, like version 2A here. Yeah, classic. Version 2A, we would just do the down miracle verses. And so it's obviously super important for musicians to be able to delineate between what arrangement is what. And so that's how you can do that. It's not always going to be spelled out in the MD notes, which is kind of the purpose of this labeling system, is we don't have to take paragraphs upon paragraphs to explain what's happening. We can just say, it's version 2B, we're all on the same page, and then the band can go to Planning Center and use their thing to look at that. So really the heart and the goal behind all of it is just to be able to be really, really adaptable, be able to prepare and have things ready to go ahead of time, as opposed to kind of everyone being on different pages and using different content when it comes to Saturday, and we're trying to run this stuff and we're realizing lyrics are wrong, we're realizing visuals are wrong. A lot of times that was just down to people were pulling from different sources and listening to different demos, and stuff wasn't labeled clearly. So this was our attempt to try to fix that, and I hope it's been helpful for you guys, and I hope that if you guys have any suggestions how we can make it better, you'd continue to let us know. But that's pretty much how the arrangements work. Do you have anything to add? Yeah. Yeah.
So what we kind of talked about, and I think the revelation we came to was, we always think that structure and flexibility are this like fighting force. But I think what we found with this is that they're actually, they're not mutually exclusive, but they can actually work together. If you set more structure up, you can actually be more flexible in the moment. So the reason we set this up was because we kept getting pushed to be more flexible with being able to make last minute changes, but we couldn't necessarily do that because we didn't know what the changes were going to be. So the fact that we have these arrangements in queue ready to go means that we can easily make an adjustment last minute based on what the new structure is, and communication is easy. So if even this is helpful, but even a bigger principle to take out of this is structure and flexibility are not mutually exclusive. Yeah. They can work together. So that's, yeah, just wanted to add that.